Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? It's Elisa, and I know I haven't been making a lot of videos recently, and I apologize for that. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be what I normally do. It's going to be more beauty related. Just don't look at this whole thing. That doesn't count. So I'm going to be talking about my experience with Color Oops, because before I used it, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it, and I want to be one of those videos that people watch before they use it. So this is my experience with Color Oops. So the story is, basically a couple years ago, I dyed my hair. It wasn't like blonde, I just got really strong blonde highlights, and it looked really, really good. And my hairstylist, she's very talented. She dyed it to a point where it could grow out and still look good. So for the past like 2 years, I had like the highlights were slowly moving down my head, and it really didn't look bad at all. Like, it wasn't like original hair or like natural hair, boom, highlights. It was like a nice gradient. I don't know how she did it, but she just did. And eventually I got to the point where the highlights, since it was 2 years, my highlights ended up being down here, and then it looked like kind of a balayage in a way. It was like my natural darker brown hair with like the blonde towards the bottom, and it ended up looking really good. Like, I really liked it. People thought I had a balayage or that I got like ombre, whatever it's called. But I was like, no, it's just from the highlights that I got 2 years ago. And I also dyed my hair like blonde 2 years ago, so it was that mixed with the highlights. I just had like a really nice natural balayage, and I'll like upload a picture of it. But a week or two ago, I decided that I just was tired of that hairstyle. You know, normally I'm not the kind of person who changes their hair with the seasons. I like things to be like normal looking, not normal looking, but like I like to have the same look all year long, just because that's just who I am. I don't really like change with the seasons. But this year I was a little bit different. I was like, I kind of want my hair to be more fall-y in a way. So I went to the hair salon, and I went to Paul Mitchell School, and it's a hair salon, like cosmetology school, and like the people that do your hair are students. Now I know this sounds a little bit scary, but like these students have a lot of experience in hair, and they are advanced in their cosmetology career, so they know what they're doing, and they're very well trained. My girl did a very good job. However, when I picked my hair color, it turned out way darker than I thought. Like, I picked out this color, and I think if you go to Paul Mitchell, or if you're familiar with it, I think it's called N3. It's Natural 3, and it's the third shade in the natural palette. And it looked good in the thing, but once she actually put it on my hair, it just looked so dark, and I hated it. Like, in the moment, I was like, okay, like maybe I can work with this. But as soon as I like left the building and went to class, everyone was making comments about it, and I'm not really the kind of person who likes being in the spotlight that much, so I just all of a sudden felt super insecure about it, and I just thought it looked way too dark, and it made me look very pale, like, and since, I don't know, it just made me look very like big, because my hair was like black, and it like outlined my whole face and like my neck, and it just made me look very wide, and I didn't really like that much. The only thing that I did look good with was my eyebrows, because my eyebrows are black, so it looked okay. So I literally was scrubbing my hair with dishwashing detergent that night, and baking soda and lemon juice. I was doing all those little remedies that the internet will tell you about, and the dye was going down the sink, or down the drain, but at the end of the day, my hair was still black. So I looked into buying Prell shampoo, which apparently is super good for lightening our hair over time and removing those dye molecules. So I ordered that online. But in the meantime, I looked into what else I can do, and I read into Color Oops. And so Color Oops is like this thing that you put on your hair, and it doesn't dye your hair. It shrinks the color molecules from the dye. It like shrinks them, and then you have to wash them out with the hot water. So if you just put Color Oops and then rinse your hair for like a minute, it doesn't work, because the molecules will expand once they're exposed to oxygen again. They're gonna reoxidize. I think that's the word for it, reoxidize. And your hair is gonna be back to the normal color. So it's really important that when you're using Color Oops, you really rinse your hair for as long as the packet says, which for me was 30 minutes. So I literally was standing in the shower for 30 minutes with scorching hot water, and it was boring and painful. Sorry if I'm like spacing out. I'm at work right now and we have to park at the back of the building now, like employees do. So it's like all my 4 o'clock coworkers for the 4 o'clock shift are like pulling in front of me and they're looking at me. And it's awkward because they probably think I'm like talking to myself, but I'm not. So yeah, so once you put the Color Oops in your hair, you have to rinse it out for like 30 minutes. That's if you use 1 box. If you use 2 boxes, it might be a little longer. I'm not sure how that works, but so I literally used it and it smells so bad. Just a warning, it stinks up the whole entire bathroom. I know I lit some candles and that helped a little bit, but your hair's gonna stink for a few days. Just do your best to like use a deep conditioner afterwards and maybe put some perfume in your hair. I don't know, just rinse it as much as you can. And with the Color Oops, as soon as I got out of the shower with the Color Oops and blow dried my hair, it did look a little bit lighter. I was very satisfied with the result. I'll upload a picture of my hair. Hold on, my coworker's like staring at me. This guy right here, the one that just pulled up, he's new and I don't really know him, so he probably thinks I'm crazy. Oh yeah, so when I immediately got out of the shower, I went to work like right after with still kind of wet hair from blow drying it. And my hair looked pretty good. Like it did look noticeably lighter. There were streaks at the top though, like streaks of my original hair color and then the black. So it looked kind of streaky and kind of bad and I didn't really like it that much. So I was like, okay, well maybe I just have to keep washing it, keep, you know, exposing it to heat. Maybe the molecules are still on my hair and they still need to be rinsed out completely. So I went to work. I worked, I came home, I took another very hot shower. And since Color Oops really does dry out your hair, this shower was dedicated mainly to like shampooing the smell out and then doing lots and lots of conditioner to get that silky and smoothness back. So I did that. And within the showers that I kept taking, I started showering like twice a day. I know that's not really good for you, but I was doing it to get all the molecules out from the color dye. As soon as I started taking showers, the color, like the streaks started going away and it looked really good. Cause like first when I did the Color Oops, it was all streaky and gross. It just looked like I was a mess and I don't even know, it just looked awful. But I started taking more showers and I was using a little bit of dish soap and using the baking soda and then really shampooing the crap out of my hair. And then eventually my hair all went back to one color. I know it might look black in this video, but it's really not black. It's like a dark brown, but as you can see, my balayage from before is gone. And if you look, my hair almost has like a nice red tint to it if it catches the light. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks so beautiful and I'm literally so obsessed with my hair now. Like my mom was like, we wasted so much money for you to get your hair dyed at Paul Mitchell. I was like, no, like literally, this is the color that I originally wanted. And Paul Mitchell did it way too dark, but with the Color Oops, it lightened it and it gave me this like beautiful red fall tint. Like this wasn't even on purpose. Like it's almost like an optical illusion because this isn't in my hair, but it is. I don't even know. But so ladies, Color Oops isn't successful for everybody. I think you just have to make sure you really do rinse it out. And it's all about how you maintain your hair after you use the Color Oops. If you just use it and then go on about your life, it's gonna not have good results. You need to make sure that you do rinse for as long as the box says, and maybe then a little bit more, especially if you're not happy with the result, because I wasn't happy with my results, so I did it longer than 30 minutes. And I got the color that I wanted, and it's been like 5 days and my hair color hasn't gone back to black. I can actually maybe show you outside. Oh, this is awkward. This is a restaurant right here. This is where I work, and there's people eating up there. I don't know if you can see. It's like not black. It's definitely like a dark brown with that red tint, and it looks wonderful. So I don't mean to like float my own goat, but I'm really happy with the result. Color Oops will not put your hair back to the original color that it was before you dyed it. All it does is lighten the color dye that you got to its lightest shade. So like this isn't my natural hair color. It's kind of like this. It's a little bit lighter, but for the most part it works. I loved it. Just make sure you follow the instructions and be very careful with it, because I think I got lucky with my results because a lot of people really don't. So just make sure you're very careful with the whole process. And the reason why I didn't go back and get it re-dyed was because it's expensive and I pay for a lot of things on myself and I could not fork out another $50 for my hair. So thank God Color Oops is only like $10 and it did a perfect job, and I definitely recommend it for anybody that doesn't like their new hair color. Heads up, it doesn't work on like purples, pinks, and blues. It only works on like natural hair colors like browns, blacks, maybe I don't even know, just read the box. They have two kinds at the store. They have extra conditioning and extra strength. I used extra strength, and then I just used a deep conditioning mask for conditioning. So yeah, and make sure after the next few days after you use Color Oops, you really moisturize your hair at night. At night before I went to bed, I would put my hair, I would moisturize it with like, I have so many different deep conditioners at my house. I would just use different ones, and I'd wrap it up in a plastic bag and let it sit for an hour. Maybe when I was watching TV or doing homework, and then you rinse it out with cold water, and it really does wonders for your hair. So my shift starts in 3 minutes, so I gotta go, but thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I helped you guys make a decision with what to do with your hair. So God bless, and I'll see you guys soon.